Hello, Fish Faithful. This is Marlins Daily on the Fan Arch Network. I am Kurt Semder, and the biggest series of the year to date did not get off to a great start for the Marlins last night. A 6-5 loss in Philadelphia, and a game that, well, the Marlins, they got screwed. There's no other way to put it. They had this game right where they wanted it, late. They had the big hit, they got it done, and the umps took it away from them. And we'll get to that and much more in just a minute because there's a lot to unpack from this game. Again, a 6-5 loss that, going into this game, we mentioned they were going to have a tough task getting some offense going, taking on Christopher Sanchez, one of the best pitchers in the National League, one of the best pitchers in baseball this season, and a lefty on top of all of that, which obviously gives the Marlins a lot of trouble so far this season. But the Marlins were actually able to figure out a way to get to Sanchez in this game, and they got it done frequently. 11 base runners in the game against him, 8 hits, 3 walks. They got guys on base. The problem was, and it continued after Sanchez was out of the game, they just couldn't get the biggest hit that they needed to take advantage of it. Just 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position in this game, and that really came back to really hurt them in this one. Jansen Jung pitched well. Can't really ask for too much more from him. He gave up a pair of runs in the 3rd inning, and that was about it. Griffin Conine came through with a big RBI hit in the 6th inning off of Sanchez as the Marlins finally broke through against him, cutting the lead to 2-1. I know it's a lefty. He struggles with lefties. He's playing against a lefty, but why is Conine batting 8th? I'm so sick of having to come on here and talk about why people are in places in the lineup that just blow my mind. And I know it bothers a lot of you out there too. If you don't believe me, go on Twitter, go where the Marlins post the lineup before the game, and just look at the comments. Just look at the comments. There's like 2 or 3 positives, and the rest are all, what are you doing? For a variety of different reasons. And there were a lot of questionable ones with this lineup, but I have to give them credit that parts of it did work because they were able to, like I said, get 8 hits in the game off of Sanchez. Now, what happened in the 7th inning happened in the 7th inning, and we will get to that in a minute because we'll get into that in depth. But basically, Marlins are down a run going into the bottom of the 7th inning. They give up another run to go down 2. They fight back to get that run back. Navarreto coming through with a big home run out of nowhere, his first of the season, cuts it back to 1. Bullpen gives that run back in the 8th inning. Not great. And then you've got a 9th inning situation taking on Johan Duran, who, we saw this last month. Marlins were able to get to him, and they look like they might be able to do it again here. Otto Lopez, huge hit, bringing in Xavier Edwards, cutting it down to 1. But just unable to bring him home and unable to tie this game up. And a lot of questionable calls and decisions there. I'm still not sure why Leo Jimenez was hitting and not Owen Casey in that spot. I know Clayton McCullough was ejected from this game earlier for what happened in the 7th. And, who knows who's making the decisions at that point when it comes to this team. But that seemed like a missed chance, a missed opportunity. And there were just a lot of missed chances in this game for the Marlins. Just too many guys left on base, not enough people driven in, especially when you have as many hits as they had in this game. Still too many strikeouts, 9 strikeouts in this game. Still don't love to see that. But didn't get it done. And now they find themselves 4 games back of Philly and actually 3 games back of San Diego for the 3rd wild card spot. So that's where the Marlins sit there now. But, all the talk about what happened in this game has gone to what happened in the 7th inning. And to set the scene for you here, Marlins have the bases loaded. Javier Sanoja, big hit machine. We've seen it this season time and time again. He comes through once again as he just slices one right down the right field line. clearly a fair ball. It's called foul inexplicably by the first base umpire. Runners aren't quite sure what to do because it looked like a fair ball. So first two guys come home. Otto Lopez being the third runner. He kind of was sprinting around. He slows around, coming around, trying to figure out what's going on. Bryce Harper in right field stops completely. If you haven't seen the video of what happened here, go online, check it out. Head on over here, right here on YouTube. I'm sure you can pop it up real quick and see exactly what happened. But basically, the Marlins were forced to challenge this and won the challenge. Now, when they challenged this, I'm sure they were thinking, well, the challenge will be rule in our favor, and Javier Sanoja will get a triple. All three runs will score, and this game will be tied 4-4. Not what happened. Not even close. I guess close. They gave Sanoja a double. Okay. Who cares, double versus triple? The important thing is all three runs scored, right? Nope. 2 runs score. Marlins still losing 4-3 at that point. Now, I understand that letter of the law can assume that Lopez would have scored from first base on the ball that was hit into the right field corner. However, let's use common sense here, because you can argue when you watch that play that Otto Lopez would not have scored. He absolutely would have scored. No disrespect to Bryce Harper, who is an excellent baseball player, but he is getting up there in age. He is back out there in right field, a position he has not played in years. That ball is into the corner with a speedy runner going full speed who got a break on the pitch with 2 outs. He's not throwing him out at home. It's just not happening. And I feel like this is another example with instant replay where we just get worried about sticking to the letter of the law and rather than common sense. Because common sense says to you, Otto Lopez is scoring there. It's 4-4. Put Sanoja on second base. Don't assume he would have made it to third. Fine, if you want to go all the way with that. Instead, the Marlins end up staying behind 4-3. They fail to tie the game up, and they're never able to make up that run. Like we mentioned, they just went back and forth the rest of the way, but weren't able to get over the hump. Now, would they have ended up winning this game? We'll never know. But they definitely would have tied it, and they pretty much did tie it in the 7th inning. Clayton McCullough got ejected, which was one of the weakest moves by a home plate umpire I think I've ever seen, in the sense of just, I don't even know what Clayton said, but it couldn't have been that much. He said about 2 words and got tossed. So the umps got to do a better job all the way around. But the bottom line is Marlins got screwed in this one, and you never want to have an umpire's call take away a game from you, or in a big spot keep you from tying a game late. That's what happened here. And in a game the Marlins had to have, and they're on the road, and they're playing a team with a better record than them, with one of the best pitchers on the mound, you don't need the umpires to be your opponent as well. And that's how it felt in this one. And this was just bad. And unfortunately, I don't know exactly how to fix it, but Marlins got screwed. They got screwed in this one. They should have tied it, and the way momentum was going, they very well might have won the game. And instead, they don't get it, and they lose. And now we're sitting here with them, and once again, 4 games back of Philly, and in a bad spot. So I don't know what the right decision is going to be here, how you fix this, but they're going to have to do something a little bit better. They're going to have to, MLB Baseball's got to figure out a way to, like I said, inject a little bit of common sense into the instant replay game. I like replay. I like the challenges. I like the way it all works. But look, every once in a while, this kind of thing happens. And unfortunately, this time it happened at the expense of the Marlins in a huge game. And the reason I also say, even if they had tied it, would they have gone on to win? We don't know, is because, look, we talked yesterday about how great this bullpen has looked as of late. This bullpen, at least the pitchers who got put out there after Jensen Junk, did not get the job done. John King gave up 2 runs in an inning. Victor Vodek struggled. Gibson gave up a run late. It was one guy coming out of the bullpen after another, And again, I know Clayton McCullough was not calling the shots at this point. And again, we can talk another time about whether or not he's ever really calling the shots on this analytic-driven front office, computer-run team, whatever you want to call it. But this is, as I mentioned, the biggest series of the season to date for the Marlins. And Jensen Junk gives you 5 innings. You know your bullpen's going to have to go out there and give you something. You know he's at best giving you 6 going into the game. How are you not using your best relievers? I mean, look, I know he pitched yesterday, but where's Michael Peterson? I know you want to save him for a save situation later in the series possibly, but where is Pete Fairbanks? And I can't believe I'm saying that based off of how he was earlier in the season. But where are your best relievers? Where's Calvin Fauché? Where are these guys? Instead, you're putting out 3 other relievers where you're putting guys out there in a game as if this game at that point you're just hoping that you don't burn one of your really good relievers for a game you're winning later in this series. It's a horrible way to approach it. And it's a put you in a bad spot. And I don't think that's the way to go. And I don't think that they set themselves up here. And it goes back to what I said before. This was missed chances. Again, just if you drive in a couple of more of those runs, get a big hit with runners in scoring position. We've talked about how this team fails to hit home runs in big spots from time to time. And that one home run when they get all these guys on base would make things so much easier for them because they could bring in 2-3 runs at a time. Instead, they've got to get 3, 4, 5 hits in a row in the same inning in order to drive in runs. That was one of these situations here once again tonight, last night, I should say. And I don't know what they're doing with the bullpen. A lot of head-scratching moves in this game, that's all I'll say. A lot of head-scratching moves by them, a lot of head-scratching decisions by the umpires. All of it just leaves you shaking your head and leaves you wondering what could have been. And really what it puts the Marlins in a situation of right now, they got to win these last 2 games against the Phillies. I mean, there's no other way to put it. For 2 reasons. One is one of the reasons you see right there on the screen. The Phillies now lead the season series 6-5, and you know this is going to be a tight race. If the Marlins can get things going here a little bit, you end up tied with the Phillies. You want to have that edge in the season series and have the tiebreaker. Got to win these last 2 games, otherwise the Phillies are going to have that tiebreaker. Obviously, you also want to win the last 2 games because then you can at least come out of this series with gaining a little bit of ground and have cut their lead over you in the wild card race to 2 games, rather than what could happen now if you lose 1 or 2 of these next games where you could be looking at a 5-6 game deficit. Not good. Not good. And I know they got Sandy going on Wednesday, but I'm assuming it's Tyler Phillips today. If it's not, I don't know what they're doing. But this team, until I see the lineup and I see what's going on, you never really know. They're going up against Zach Wheeler, who can be hit, but also, as I mentioned with some other pitchers that the Marlins have had to face in the last couple of weeks, has the ability to shut you down completely. Thankfully, he is at least not a left-hander. So maybe we'll see more of a regular lineup in this game today. But look, it's not even 24 hours after last night's game, and it still is just baffling me. It's just I can't comprehend how this ended up how this game went the way it did. Maybe a little bit more time, I'll be able to figure it out. In the meantime, hopefully a better result for the Marlins tonight. Hopefully they've got Sandy going on the mound tomorrow, looking to get 2 out of 3. But the pressure's on. Time to get it done. And it's time for this Marlins team to show that they really want to be in this playoff race. And that doesn't go just for the players on the field. That goes for the front office. That goes for the managing. That goes for everybody. Play like you want to win. Stop playing like you're trying to outsmart the system. That's where I'll leave you today. That's it for Marlins Daily. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Hopefully a good game tonight. See you tomorrow.